Hello, my beautiful crafty friends. I am Katia with Lunar Sun Creations, and today we are going to be doing a little experiment. I keep seeing those kind of fabric looking wall art, kind of like folded fabric made with air dry clay on Instagram and stuff, and I wanted to see if it would work and bake properly with polymer clay. So I'm starting with some white, gold, and peacock in a Sculpey Primo. I've got it cut so that it is ready to be turned into a Skinner blend. I didn't show the cutting of it, but there's a cajillion videos, so I'm sure you can just follow that little pattern. And we are going to put it through our pasta machine with all three colors hitting the rollers. Okay, and then we are going to fold it in half, put it through again. I'm putting this through on a 0, and we're going to do this quite a few times, folding, putting it back through until we have our Skinner blend. Okay, so I've ran it through about 20 times, and I think that's a decent blend. I'm happy with that. So my plan is to put it onto a wooden canvas, a wooden panel. Ignore the bits of clay that are already on there. I was doing something else on it and it wasn't really working, so I changed tactics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some liquid clay all over the panel and smear it with my finger. And then the blend is going to go onto here. So I'm going to put the liquid clay on first, and then I'm going to thin out my blend because my panel is 8 by 10. So I want the sheet of clay to be probably about 12 by 14. Because I want it to go over the sides of the panel as well. And then I'm going to cut it in half and kind of put it together side by side because my pasta machine is only 6 inches wide, so I need this to be at least 12 inches wide. So I'm going to take 2 sheets and put them together. Okay, let's see if this is enough. And I'm just going to smooth this all over the panel with my finger, making sure I get right to the edge. Well, one big question with this is whether or not the air bubbles created by making the folds in the clay are going to affect the way it bakes. So that's where I'm not quite sure how that's going to do. So this is an experiment and we shall see what happens. Okay, so I've got my clay on there. I'm just going to set this aside for a second. Okay, I'm going to cut this in half, or roughly in half. And then I'm going to keep feeding it through my pasta machine and thinner and thinner and thinner. Okay, so that's on a 2. That's 4. Okay, and this is at 6. And I don't think I'm going to go any lower than 6. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside, do the same to the other piece. So I've got a big piece of parchment here, and I'm going to kind of try to make this into one big sheet, and I'm probably going to have to put some more clay through to make it long enough, I think, or to have enough clay. Yeah, I need a bit more of the turquoise. Fill in these little gaps here. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a sheet of plain copy paper, and I'm just going to try and smooth out this center part where I've overlapped them. So I'm just going to use my roller over top, just so the whole thing is the same thickness. You can't see a seam or anything. Okay, that seems pretty good, and I think it's going to be big enough to go all the way around with room for making the kind of ruching. So now the fun part is getting it off this piece of parchment all in one piece. Okay, so I'm going to slowly lay this down. Maybe not all the way, because I feel like that might make it because that clay underneath. I need to do this as I'm laying it down. So I'm going to try and maneuver the clay into folds. I thought the liquid clay would make it easier, like so that it would kind of slide, but it's not exactly sliding the way I thought it might. It's sticking quite hardcore. Okay, so I have to do it as I lay it down. Trying to make them look as organic as possible without making them too tight. I would like a couple more in here. Okay, I like that bit. I'm not quite pleased with this part yet. Let's see if we can't get another couple folds in here. Oh, I ripped it. Ah! Okay, that was quite a bit of futzing. Sorry about that. Okay, I won't have enough to go all the way around the edge, but that's okay, I think. Okay, I'm just gonna try and like kind of tap it down at the edges then so I can cut the excess off. I think I like that. All right, so I'm just gonna take my blade and I'm gonna go around the edge. If it's tacked down enough at the edge, it should just come off. Okay, this side isn't quite to the edge. I'm just gonna kind of pull it there. Okay, let's see how this side does. Okay, that was pretty smooth. I'm just gonna, anywhere there's like a hole, I'm just gonna kind of tap it down just because I'm gonna try to reduce the amount of air like going into the underneath the clay as it's baking. If there's, I mean, there's already gonna be air trapped underneath it, but I'd like to try to reduce the amount that's continuing to go under it. I have no idea if this is gonna help or not, but we're in my brain, this is what my brain is saying to do, so that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of tempted to put some shine on this. A little bit of like mica powder maybe in the highlights. Okay, I think I might brush on a tiny bit of Perfect Pearls. Okay, so I'm using just a little bit of the Perfect Pearls in the name Perfect Pearl. And I'm doing it mostly onto like the raised bits of the folds, just to give it a little bit more kind of dimension, and I don't know, I just like the shine of it. I don't even know if the camera is picking it up at all. It is fairly subtle, but that's what I wanted. Okay, so there it is with a little bit of the pearls. Oh, sometimes in the light it's picking it up a little bit. I think it looks cool so far. Let's see how it bakes. All right, so it is out of the oven and it looks like it baked amazingly. So yay! You can do this with polymer clay, so that is really good to know, and I think that looks really, really cool. I'm just gonna paint around the edges, and there we go. I've got a new wall hanging. I hope you'll give this a try. It can be done with both air dry and with polymer clay, and it bakes really well, so hooray! All right, I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye!